My name is Tom Alter. I'm a member of Socialist
Recording
Horizon
in
in,
progress.
I'll just say it again. My name is Tom Alter. I'm a member of Socialist Horizon in San Marcos, Texas, and also a member of the Texas State Employees Union, affiliated with the CWA. So, as many of the speakers and participants in this conference have stated, U.S. capitalism is in crisis, a crisis faced also by capitalists and nations across the earth. Capitalists' unquenchable thirst for profit has led them to attack workers' standards of living at home and put them in conflict with rival capitalists abroad. The working class in the United States feels this in our daily lives. The high price of groceries, soaring rents and mortgages, lack of health care, crumbling public infrastructure, an education system that, despite the efforts of teachers, serves more as daycare for workers' children than fostering learning, and environmental destruction. All these conditions contribute to a growing mental health crisis. Globally, we see U.S. capital coming into increasingly conflict with rival imperialist powers, also seeking to maintain their profits, not just by exploiting the working class they rule over, but by seeking additional markets, resources, and labor pools beyond their national borders. Crisis is a regular feature of capitalism. What makes the current crisis an extra problem for capitalists is the willingness of people to fight back. You could argue that we have been in a prolonged period of resistance, dating back to December of 2010, with the overlapping protests of the pro-democracy movement of the Arab Spring, the Wisconsin protest of 2011, going into Occupy Wall Street, the 2012 Chicago Teachers Union strike, followed by more teacher strikes across the country, the Indigenous Peoples fight against the Dakota Access Pipeline, Black Lives Matter, trans liberation, Cop City, the protest against it, and a general uptick in labor union struggles. We see this resistance currently in the hotel workers on strike in Houston, the United Auto Workers on strike against GE Aerospace in Ohio, and the ongoing resistance of the Palestinian people. Through these struggles, more and more people see capitalism to blame and are open to socialist ideas. Despite the continued resistance of working people in confronting racism, sexism, transphobia, and increasing wealth inequality, the basic underpinnings of capitalism have not been broken. In facing the crisis of capitalism, what the working class is dealing with is a crisis of organization and confidence. While there is a willingness to fight, knowing the most effective ways to fight and having confidence in ourselves and the working class as a whole is vital. I agree with and second Steve in understanding the need for and calling for a revolutionary socialist party. This is what we have been missing during this period of capitalist crisis and working class resistance. We are in different conditions to organize than 20 or even 10 years ago. Workers, especially young people, have been through a lot. During this time, we have gone through the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, accelerating climate change with destructive weather, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, the Great Recession, after which the economy has never been the same, increased police brutality, especially against people of color, crippling student debt, the loss of reproductive rights, attacks on queer people, the pandemic, soaring inflation, the rise of the far right around the world, and an ongoing genocide in Palestine. It doesn't take that much to convince people that capitalism, a system based on profit that disregards life and the environment, is to blame. And most importantly, in the past 10 years, we have seen a rise of working class consciousness. In organizing today, I rarely have a conversation where I need to convince someone that capitalism is the root of our problems. This was not the case in the 1990s and the early 2000s. Then people would be outraged and protest against racism, sexism, police brutality, war. However, seeing these as a product of capitalism often resulted in some pushback or open debate. This was still part of the post-World War II era when most Americans considered themselves middle class or had middle class aspirations of the so-called American dream. These middle class aspirations are gone. The American dream is now a nightmare. As I said, People today get that capitalism is literally killing us, especially people under 30, where the world I described is all they have known. Anti-capitalist sentiments are so prevalent that sections of the capitalist class resorted to right-wing or demagogic-based populism. This is represented in Trump, who has harnessed the real economic anxieties and fears felt by countless Americans and directed it towards scapegoating of immigrants, America First policies, and hatred of liberal institutions who have no solutions to the crisis of capitalism as they are part of the problem. I've seen videos of reporters at Trump rallies who ask people why they support Trump. One rally participant said he supported Trump because Trump is against communists. When this person was asked who the communists are, he replied that communists are, quote, big pharma, the giant pharmaceutical companies who control the government. Unknowingly, this person described not communism, but capitalism. This is yet another reason why we need a mass revolutionary party to win over people who see that giant corporations control the government, but have been misled by rightists like Trump. Now, at this moment, I do not advocate focusing or organizing at Trump rallies. Many people are very open to socialism without getting it confused with giant corporations. They understand that socialism as a system that provides for the basic needs of working class people in food, housing, healthcare, and education in opposition to the capitalist system and its focus on individual wealth accumulation to the detriment of the working class and the environment. This is who we need to start organizing into a revolutionary party. The question is, how do we achieve socialism? During the past few years in the United States, only a precious few have been in revolutionary socialist organizations based in the working class. Most of us revolutionary socialists have been isolated and through the ringer in terms of organizing. I can speak to this myself, and I'm sure my experiences are similar to many others. In the absence of a nationwide revolutionary socialist party organization built on the principle of putting the working class in power, those working for socialism have done so through different and at times overlapping avenues. The largest socialist organization in the United States, the Democratic Socialist of America, and its youth wing, the YDSA, is mainly working within the Democratic Party, attempting to change it from the inside. Others have engaged in what they call mutual aid, coming from the anarchist tradition, while recently others are organizing a more direct action-focused insurrectionary anarchism. And lastly, there are socialist organizations who practice a top-down style of organization, looking to China, North Korea, and undemocratic bourgeois nationalist governments who stand in opposition to U.S. imperialism, some of whom have their own imperialist ambitions. These groups follow the Maoist and Stalinist traditions. I will briefly discuss each of these forms of socialist organizations. What they all have in common is that they do not have faith in the working class to organize itself or to put the working class in power. These are all in stark contrast to Firebrand, Socialist Horizon, and the International Socialist League, who are seeking to build a working class-based revolutionary socialist party that puts the working class in power. What the DSA is attempting by working within the Democratic Party follows a nearly 200 years old project that began in the 1830s. It is more than past time to consider this a failed project. The Democratic Party is and remains a thoroughly capitalist party. Even with a recently reinvigorated DSA with tens of thousands of members, the Democratic Party has not budged. In fact, it has moved further to the right. Even candidates who the DSA proudly claim to have helped elect, like the Democratic mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, are not leading in the interest of the working class. As this conference is going on, Trump has moved National Guard troops into Chicago. Johnson has spoken out loudly against Trump's action, but where are Johnson's actions? A socialist mayor backed by a socialist party would be actively working with labor unions to shut the entire city of Chicago down in a general strike while organizing workers' defense guards. Again, we do see working class people in Chicago acting on their own interest, but not having a revolutionary party. So instead, Johnson leads a symbolic Labor Day march past a Target store and a Tesla dealership. Johnson, like his Democratic counterpart in Washington, D.C., issue fiery rhetoric while capitulating to occupation. This goes along with the Democratic Party nationally doing nothing in action to stop the ICE raids terrorizing working class communities across the country. Why would the Democrats do anything to stop ICE? After all, the Biden administration provided record amounts of funding to ICE and the Border Patrol. And we all know where the Democratic Party stands in relation to a free Palestine. No socialist should have any relationship with the Democratic Party or an organization that works within the Democratic Party. You are not just using a Democratic ballot line, you are being used to provide left cover for a party of mass incarceration at home and genocide abroad. Seeing the limits and pitfalls of electoral politics, some socialists have turned to more local community-based projects engaging in what they call mutual aid. Mutual aid has a long tradition within the labor movement when workers, primarily in unions, assisted fellow members while sick and pain and helping pay for funerals. However, what most activists today are calling mutual aid is actually charity. This is seen in food drives, disaster assistance, and blankets for the homeless. This is all noble work, and I will never discourage someone from helping those in need. But charity cloaked as mutual aid is not going to end capitalism. Another strain of anarchism gaining ground recently is that of insurrectionary anarchism, primarily coming out of those that were involved in the Cop City protest. These groups and individuals have grown rightfully frustrated with symbolic protests that do not disrupt the normal functioning of government and business. They call for more direct action and shutting down the military industrial complex and preventing ICE from kidnapping members of their communities. Many insurrectionary anarchists are serving jail time, lost jobs, and face expulsion from school. They have truly put their bodies on the line. While their actions are laudable, it should be asked to what purpose do they serve? As anarchists, these insurrectionists explicitly reject the formation of a revolutionary party capable of leading the working class to power. Without organization, how can anyone expect to overthrow the most bloodthirsty, profit-driven mad organization in the history of the world, that of the US government?
2 minutes, comrade.
Thank you. So, as Steve mentioned, a revolutionary party needs a revolutionary situation for the working class to win power. We are not in that situation now, though it may be coming soon, as the crisis of capitalism only continues to deepen and capitalists look to war and fascism to save their profit system. If we do not build a revolutionary party now, this is surely our future. What we do now is incredibly important. We must educate ourselves and others in Marxism and the history of class struggle. We are by no means just a reading club. Our tasks are laid out in the Communist Manifesto. We must participate in the struggles of our class, whatever they may be, from joining union picket lines to defending trans people. And then, as communists, connect these numerous struggles of our class into a fight against the source of our oppression, capitalism. Through struggle, we can win reforms along the way, giving confidence to our class. This is how we build a mass party. Reforms are not enough, though. If the working class is not in power, those reforms can be lost, as we have seen in recent times. We must build a revolutionary socialist party now so that when a revolutionary situation arises, the working class has the tools and organization it needs to take power. To conclude, have confidence, build workers' power, be a firebrand for a socialist horizon. Thank you.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, comrade, and excellent timing.
Thank you, everyone. Great discussion. Yeah, just agreeing with Steve. I mean, I never, on the gig workers, I personally never considered gig workers not part of the working class. Now, getting to where we're at now, people are in the streets. The working class is fighting. They are yearning for organization. True, we are not a mass party now. we are distributing propaganda. We are training cadre. But at the same time, we're building a party now that we want to be part of the struggles of the working class. Because I think people are looking, because I don't really have like really heated discussions with people anymore where I have to be too argumentative. I mean, I'm in Central Texas, at a majority minority university, first generation working class students. So I'm in a situation where I'm majority minority and with working class people. So I'm rarely find myself in some where I have to be ideologically pure. I think people are looking to fight back. And that's, I think, why the PSL has grown. They're looking for an organization and then they find it. Now, how long I've seen a lot of young people just getting chewed up and spit out by the PSL. And that's one of the things that's like motivated me to we need to build a party now. We're not opportunists. We're not bending our position towards the Democratic Party. We're not looking to China or campism. That's what we agree with Firebrand with, and we agree with what Steve said about Ukraine. That's why we're looking at regroupment because we do have these ideological agreements on these kind of basic principles of who we're looking towards. We look to the working class. We're not looking towards socialism, top-down socialism, looking for socialism from the bottom up. I was fiery in talking about the DSA, but I'm not, when I get in my conversation with them, I'm not like attacking them. I was in the DSA myself. I went through that experience. It was a failed experience right here. Our example is to be part of the struggle. What I've been doing is been part of Palestine Solidarity and active in my union. So Revolutionary Party, I feel, is the school. Revolutionary Party is the school of the working class. It is the training ground for cadre to go through joint struggle together in a revolutionary party. So I think if we have these basic principles that they're agreeing with, we're not going to look towards China. We're not looking towards Putin. We're going to be fighting the Democrats and looking towards building working class power. Let's build it. Join Socialist Horizon, join Firebrand, join the ISL. Let's fight for a revolutionary party and win. So thank you.
Thank you, comrade.
Hey Tom, is it true that Texas State trains the most public school teachers in the country? I remember that stat circling around like a couple years ago when Texas State was getting all like the shit that it always gets for being like like the lesser school in Texas.
Yeah,
But I
we're the
remember somebody
stepchild.
saying, yeah, exactly. But I remember somebody saying, I remember like that getting circulated around that it like trains like the most public sector teachers in the country.
That it definitely is for Texas because that's what it
Yeah.
was it was started as a teacher school.
Hmm.
Actually, that's what Lyndon Johnson went here. It's a teacher
Yeah.
school. I can't wait till the day when we tear down the Lyndon Johnson statue on campus as
Hell
well.
yeah.
But yeah, so then Texas State's grown. It's now like the 19th largest
Yeah.
school campus in the country. So that would kind of make sense that it could be in uh, training for teachers in the country. So I haven't actually heard that, and they usually do
Word.
kind of trumpet those statistics when it is
Yeah, yeah.
but we do
Just
a lot.
curious.
That's most of my students as well. A lot of them are education majors. So
History education. Oh,
yeah,
interesting, interesting. Hmm.
yeah.
Well, cool.
Combat